So let's continue that conversation with the breaking news that Pete Carroll is gone in Seattle. So then what is next in Seattle?
I have no idea. I mean, look, they fired him. He did not step down. He did not resign. It is being reported he was fired. Here's an interesting note. Fired, but he gets to stay with the organization in an advisory role.
Yeah.
Very odd you see those two things put together. Now, they refuse to rebuild. They're in a very weird spot. They're in the same spot as the Minnesota Vikings, quite frankly. You might have a quarterback, but you don't, but you do, but you don't. You're never going to win a Super Bowl, but you're never going to bottom out. Now, last year, they had an opportunity picking fifth. They decided to take corner. I really don't know what you do there. Running game, they've got the backs. They got a couple good young tackles. You know what's out there at wide receiver. Rico, I think it's an attractive job. Great home field advantage.
Yeah. I think
That's a Ben Johnson spot if I'm Ben Johnson.
because you don't have to hit rock bottom. It's not the Carolina Panthers where you're going to lose for at least the next 2 years.
And you're going to work for a petulant child.
Yeah, this is one where, and that's not even D'Amico Ryan, where you kind of got lucky in a bad organization and you made them good. This is now you get your guy and you can now shop to try to find that quarterback and maybe, if this
wait a
guy.
minute. Time out. Time the hell out. What about Kirk Cousins to Seattle?
I would say
Quick fix.
no. But here's the thing.
They don't want to. They don't want to rebuild.
You know what the best thing that happened to Kirk Cousins was?
Getting hurt.
Nick Mullins and all the disaster quarterbacks that happened in Minnesota. His value went up every game that he's shirtless up there banging the drum.
True. Okay. Next.
Let's move over to this. It was interesting quotes from Jerry Jones regarding security for Mike McCarthy. He said, we'll see, when he was asked about the future of Mike McCarthy, we'll see how each game goes into the playoffs. Then he kind of clarified himself later on in an interview on the radio, says, I was a little surprised by the reaction to my quote. He says, I don't know how I could be any clearer. Coach McCarthy is under contract for next year, so that's not an issue.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Go out and lose to the pack as 7-point favorites, and Jerry Jones, you'll be dining on a bullet.
Or owner speak. Yeah. Let us lose to the Niners again off a ridiculous play for the final play of the game, and you're fired as well.
Can I put this in there as well when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys? Because
Roberto, go ahead and put that in the sandbox, please.
Because on the other side of it, their DC is a hot commodity right now. Interview requests for Panthers, Commanders, Chargers. They lose. Could you see them just name Dan Quinn, their head coach?
I thought that last year, the same thing, but they held on to him. But I don't think that McCarthy's going to be there long unless they get to a Super Bowl. They have to get past the NFC Championship game. If they make it to the Super Bowl, I think maybe if they make it to the championship game. But the Cowboys and early exits are synonymous with each other.
And I'm going to continue to say this to you. You can bring up the Panthers job 1,000,000 times. I'm going to say no to it 1,000,001. The only way I take that job, you call your wife or your spouse that day and you go, here's the deal. We are going to be fired in short order, but I am taking this because I have 58 million reasons to do so.
See, I think the Panthers job is going to go to a college coach. This is your first chance at the big boy table.
Kirby Smart.
I'm not saying him, David. I'm not saying Harbaugh, because Harbaugh doesn't need that job. I'm talking about a college coach that, hey, I finally get to go to the NFL. Yeah, it's a bad team, but you're one of
Kirby
30.
Smart.
Nah, Georgia's better than that.
Isn't it? Georgia probably beats the Panthers. I'm kidding. David.
But Dan Quinn with the Commanders, Chargers, that does make sense.
That absolutely makes sense. Dan Quinn has been to a Super Bowl. If I'm Dan Quinn, I am not taking the Panthers job. It'll be my last head coaching job ever.
Either that or just the retread coach who just says, I just want a job, or Eric Bieniemy, who's just like, yep, he's the only one that hired me.
So, Mike, I need you to explain to me, or try to explain to me, what is going on in New York. It was a report that Martindale had resigned.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true.
No.
But there was an issue in the meeting. He cussed out Dayball after the meeting on Monday.
He went full Valenti in a meeting.
What? He left the meeting, left the facility and said he was going to resign, but hasn't yet done so.
No, David, I think you also missed the point where he told everybody in that meeting that they were number one.
Oh, he did say that. You're right.
I mean, he didn't. He feels like he deserves more respect. Dayball's hard to work for, hard to coach with. And, yeah, him and Dayball had many a run-in. Now, here's Wink's problem. When your defense ranks 30th in football, I mean,
have leverage.
Sweet sunglasses and long-sleeve tee, but, like, Dayball's covering his own ass a little bit. Now, do I think Wink will end up ahead a DC somewhere? Of course I do. I just think the Giants are a train wreck top down. There's no continuity. You're firing the special teams coach. You're firing Wink Martindale. You're firing the O-line coach. At what point does it come back to Brian Daboll and Joe Shane? Here's the deal, fellas. This is the offense you put together, and it stinks.
Well, speaking of the offense you put together,
Oh, God, I hate everything.
Matt Eberflus is staying in Chicago, and the offensive staff that he put together is gone.
So's Justin Fields.
So the quarterback coach, QB, OC, running back, wide receiver, and tight end.
Why do you keep Eberflus if you're going to saddle him with a rookie quarterback? You did the same thing to Matt Nagy.
I was about to say it's Chicago being Chicago.
You're on thin ice. Cutscene. Here's a rookie QB. Up next, you're fired. Now we try it with the next guy. Hey.
And I didn't want this QB that this guy picked.
And now you actually finished the season strong. You look like you had something to build upon. Whole offensive staff gone. Justin Fields gone. Rookie in. Eberflus dead next year. Hire another coach. And somebody will have to wake up Virginia McCaskey to tell her what effing day it is.
The only good thing about that is if you're Chicago and you've done nothing right, but maybe I think you just put somebody on the air.
Not anymore.
Wow.
He'll
Sorry.
call back.
I'm sorry.
It happens.
I am one person.
That you could possibly leverage Justin Fields and get some picks.
I want Justin Fields in New York next.
Because now if you're Seattle, man.
Justin Fields, Seattle. Justin Fields, Atlanta. Justin Fields, New York. Hey, watch Goff lose a playoff game. And guess
Justin Fields here.
And we'll have to hear from this goofball. Justin Fields. Justin Fields is going to be a hot commodity. Don't worry. I've got Daniel Jones in a halo week 1.
Maybe the Niners could work some magic and get him.
Wouldn't you hope? Especially if you falter again.
That's okay. Just for you to get another cheer drop.
So let's close it out with this one because there may be another option when it comes to Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Adam Schefter's reporting that people around the league believe that Tomlin could decide to eventually do a Sean Payton and just take some time off, take a year off. So he wouldn't be fired. He would take a year off.
I just asked you a week ago, do you really think Tomlin still wants to do this?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, shut up. I'm like, David, I just feel like sometimes things run its course.
Yes.
Maybe it's just Pittsburgh because Cowher never coached again.
Well, see, that's why I always believe that, you move on from him because the voice doesn't seem to be resonating in the locker room.
Yeah, but you know what the other angle is? I mean, look, Cowher didn't coach again for specific reasons. It's a hard life. You win a Super Bowl, you're a legend, you're making $6 million a year doing TV, you got daughters in high school. Cowher never wanted to get back into it. Now, Mike Tomlin is aging beautifully. There is a world where you don't just die on the sidelines like a lot of these guys. You've done it. You're one of the handful of best coaches in franchise history. You are a Super Bowl champion. You do, in fact, wear sunglasses on the sidelines, regardless of whether it's daytime or not. It's okay to walk away. You don't think Mike Tomlin would be a hot property on TV?
He also has college-age kids, too. So maybe
he could also do movies. Omar Epps stunt double.
Does Omar Epps does he do anything?
Is Omar Epps alive, 248?
I haven't seen him in anything lately.
The Steelers.
Omar Epps was the only one who missed the strays Cat Williams was putting out there.
Because he's not a comedian, so that's why.
Up next, your thoughts on Ricky Smiley.
Steve Harvey on line.
Okay,
two.
all right.
And that's a great way to end it. That is in football today.